Every Time I Die, Radical. So, history. I got into this band around the time of their last record, Low Teens. This thing just, yeah, apparently, frontman Keith Buckley, he's pissed. He is fucking pissed. Whew! And there's like not a line of just pure anger that is just, dude. There's nothing well wasted on this fucking record to me. I get it's longer than usual, but it's not that they don't make it worthwhile. Some people's complaints it's too long, and that some tracks should have been deluxe tracks, but fuck that. I kind of like this thing. The one thing that does help, I think, break some sense of potential monotony this record could have had is that works. I mean, the moments that they do have that don't, blur themselves so much together, like your postmortems, like your tracks like Postmortem. I mean, there's so many lyrics. From this track, it's that, spare the ones that live, slay the rest is probably one of the best lines on this entire thing. Give us our plague now, start over, this time no gods unless they're women. Oh, fucking hell, man. And the thing is, they're technically one of the more, technically they would fit in post-hardcore. Somehow they get lumped into pop screamo or some bullshit. They're more than that, guys. I mean, post-hardcore for sure, but of a metallic variety for sure. But musically, hold on, let me do something there. Okay. Their last record, what got me into them is they sounded so Dillinger, and apparently they had a feature, and they had Kurt Ballou on it, or produce an album for them, so I'm like, oh shit. And some of that influenced how they would be doing and involving their sound, while still they're one of the few bands that still somehow are the same band, but you can easily still tell that they're sort of evolving their sound in a subtle way, whether it be from a production standpoint or actual sonic template itself. Because this one definitely is a different in production. It seems like it's darker, it's much angrier and more aggressive than the last record, for sure. The last record definitely felt very Dillinger-y in a good way to me, especially. And this record, Low Teens was what an album to interestingly get a good start on a full-length record. I've heard their other stuff, but I can't remember it as much. I had an idea of their sound, though. I wouldn't just be able to tell you the name of the songs at that point. From their earlier days. I've always known about them, but I just, for some reason, never could get into them. But I did kind of like what they were doing. For some reason, I just couldn't quite get into enough to get into their albums back then when they came out. Or at least I just wasn't sure I was ready for them at the time. It's one of those things for me. And I was just and now it got to a point where I was looking for an excuse to listen to them because I've always and I had buddies that were into them and stuff. So, and they were kind of one of those bands that kind of did seemingly way more for the genre to me. That are still for metalcore, and to the point that they sort of borderline into mathcore, but weren't quite there. Maybe they had some math rocky elements via the stuff from having worked with Kurt Ballou from Converge and the moments of working with Dillinger. It's Greg Puciato, if I'm pronouncing that right. I always probably butcher it, and I'm sorry, Greg. If you're somehow watching this, if you like it, still love whatever Time I Die's been putting out. And I liked the one project Keith Buckley was doing with the Two Layers Fall Out Boy and stuff, even though that second track on that on Cells Divided, I think, is the album. That one slightly ruined my experience, even though everything else on the record was great. Even though that first time I heard Colossus for that project. And some of that I feel like does also seep in a little bit. Luckily, nothing ridiculous to the point of that second track from that record, thank God. Because that one felt menacing, like Fall Out Boy menacing in a... to me. So... But other than that... Oh, hold on a second. I made a screw up on my glasses here. But anyways, it's so good, such a goofy band here. And some of the songs I guess could blur together, but as just an album experience, it don't matter. It's just they're still having fun. There's a very rock and roll vibe. I don't know if it's a more death and rolly vibe, maybe. Possibly. Yeah, and they just keep doing that kind of rock and roll style. And some of it don't make sense. There is some of the some allegories. Some are very more blatantly obvious in comparison. You can tell some of it. You know, they do try to be catchy. Some of it does kind of call out to their hometown in Buffalo, New York. Sly was pretty good. Planet Shit's not too bad. I understand if some people do find it so, I guess. But Postmortem is so fun, and plus they kind of pull a System of a Down with their My Annihilation. You know, I sound more System of a Down than what they're doing, but regardless, it sounds fucking awesome. Excuse me. Stardust from Madub. Don't like that up your nose. Sorry. But yeah, it's fun stuff there. A Colossal Wreck. Fuck, this song sounds like one. Whoa. Give it all back to the animals. No one's gonna deliver us. I mean, and him just screaming, give it back, give it back. Oh. And him calling it quits. Just so much crazy fucking shit. There's so much awesome fucking lines in here that are like I should have been baptized, death's perfect shine in my eyes, now it's killing time until time decides I've had enough. Stuff like that. Just till are broken and smothered, children are torn from their mothers, the dumb and cruel established rule, life is how are punished. Just, I mean, shit. Like, just the more I even look at his lyrics, the more it's like, holy shit, son. Like, even from Desperate Pleasures, which they don't even say the line itself. It's more in Desperate Times or something. And it just how a lot of what's been happening over it just kind of built up this seed, and how the world has become what it is at this point. Because throughout this pandemic, it just came to, since 2020, and just how it's become to a boiling point. Ugh. All this and more just really brings it consistently. Just fucking pounding it, man. Thing with Feathers is probably the softest song on here. That's kind of more, they still have that Southern Rocky sort of party anthems type of thing going on. And there is a video for this, I think that's alright. And they still kind of have their sense of humor, though. At least at points. I think the communication, beneath your bones the sky awaits. Like, there's so much of this things. I mean, it does build into something heavier, and then Hostile Architecture is something as well. A party's over atmosphere. You can't go home, but you can't stay here. A real party atmosphere. You can't go home, but you can't stay here. There's too many ghosts, not nearly enough spirit. Spirit, almost like referring to throwing back spirits. Oh, jeez. Man, it's just the way they have a way to come about it. It's like they just find a way to be ballsy about it, even if it's It's just crazy awesome how they do it. AWOL is definitely that for sure. The space between us is like a crime scene with no blood and no fingerprints. It's being one of those things. And there was one song where they go, I'm sorry. I think it's this one here. Yeah, it's not this one. It's not the whip, but there's one track here. I think it's Distress Rehearsal. There's one moments where he's like, where he just basically does their apology and he's like, I'm sorry, but what? That's just. I think it's more in the People verses specifically where he's like that. Or is it the final track, We Go Together? Either way, the way this record comes off, I feel like, at least from a production standpoint, it's a lot fuller for sure. It's definitely dark and definitely a lot. Keith's angrier on here, and it's fucking amazing to me. The way I say it, I'm just gonna fucking say it. Radical, dude. This album's radical, and horns up. The band still finds a way to be fun even when they're pissed off. Legitimately pissed off. Shit, dude. Shit, guys, I mean, you're bringing it. Even the riffs are fun and shit. Like, Like, if this was your first time, honestly, good for you guys. Good for you. Like, they've just, like, there's nothing to this band that's, I've never found anything bad from this band. Just yet. I gotta probably deep dive to find that for sure. But from between what I've gotten from these last couple albums, I'd like to know how they went from what they started and how they evolved into what they are. It even makes it even more of a fascinating, like, go through of a discography to where when I get to it, I might be one of those few people who actually might consider this a magnum opus for them. I don't know. But all I know is I enjoyed the fuck out of this thing. And I'm never really underestimating Every Time I Die. I knew I would at least like this album. I like it a lot. Yeah, it's make an album. I don't know if I would go masterclass just yet, but it's gonna be in my on the year end list. Yes it is.